I don't want to do this. I want to go back.
Okay, this might not go too well. You know, what did we learn? I learned that...
Things we've learned. What's up, everyone? This is Ben.
Hello,
My name's Alie.
my baby.
This is our boat dog, Bruce. And these are our cruising grounds. Thanks for coming along as we push our limits, laugh lots, learn more,
Alie doesn't know this right now, but I'm kind of terrified.
and explore everything that the Pacific Northwest has to offer. Don't forget to hit subscribe if you like our episodes, and welcome back to Breaking Waves. It's day, 3 here at Pender Harbour since we got towed here. Catching up on editing, which is nice, but there's a grocery store nearby. I'm planning on going on a hike tomorrow, so I feel like I'm taking advantage of being stranded here. And Benjamin Button here is flushed through the diesel, or it's not the outboard motor, and taking it all apart and trying to get the outboard running so that we can at least get on and off the dock, and then if we have that, then hopefully we can sail across the strait. There's supposed to be some pretty good wind the day after tomorrow or 2 days after that, so hopefully we can catch one of those weather windows and get back home. It's working! Woo! One engine fixed, one to go. Bruce, he fixed it. We can go home. You don't even care. Okay.
So yeah, we got the outboard going tonight. Good news. We can now leave on our own power to be able to sail across the strait back to Nanaimo, where we should be getting back to. Yeah, I think all that happened with the outboard was what we thought happened when we were in the Jervis Inlet. So the herring row was causing twigs and debris and stuff like that to collect on the surface, and then I didn't really notice it, but they all got caught in and around the engine area, and then eventually I'm sure some debris got sucked up the intake, the water intake, and clogged the cooling system somewhere, and that's what caused our engine to shut down. And so I took apart the cooling system, and while I was at it, I checked the impeller and found the clog and flushed it all out, and it's good to go again. So we're back in action.
Having the dinghy engine was great, but as we still didn't have an inboard, we spent the next couple days working out, fishing, editing, while we wait for some wind to catch back home.
I calculated today, Alie and I have spent over 300 hours within 10 feet of each other.
Oh my god.
300 hours consecutively.
Oh
within 10
my
feet.
god.
It's looking pretty good. We got, let's see, 26 miles or so to go from Pender Harbour, where we are now. We're in this area, Garden Bay. So we'll motor out into the strait with the dinghy engine. 26 miles straight shot, roughly to where we're going. But as you can see, we're going to be closed haul, probably have to tack. So call it 30 miles, maybe more. And the wind looks good all day still tomorrow. They're calling for 20 to 30 knots on the Marine Weather Service. And that's 9 p.m. tomorrow, 1 a.m. So it kind of builds 7 a.m. That's when we'll be leaving. Looks pretty solid. 20 knots, 18, 20 knots. And then right around 11 a.m., right when we'll be in the middle of the, there we go. So that's calling for 23 knots. I think it's going to be closer to like almost 30 knots in the strait, in the middle of the strait. It does be gusting to 30 anyway. So That's what we need, though. We need reliable, consistent wind so we can get home, and then later on in the day, it lightens up again.
We do want to take advantage of good wind. We just don't want it to be too crazy or too light. So tomorrow's our day. We're going to give her a go. It may be on the heavy side, but we've already sailed in heavier stuff. So I'm feeling pretty confident. We now have our stay sail. We know how to reef. So I think we got it. I'm feeling a little nervous about the waves just because how Waves and I get along. It's funny for a surfer. As everyone knows, I do get seasick. A little apprehensive about that, but I mean, we take it in stride. We roll with the waves. Ben has already gone ahead and secured everything outside. I secured everything inside tonight, and then hopefully we can just get up and go. Bruce, we get to go home today. It's sailing day.
We are up at 7 a.m. We're going to cross back over the strait today. We went to bed early, but we didn't get a great sleep because there was a raccoon climbing all over the boat all night last night.
Pissing our guard dog off.
Our very vicious guard dog. I probably got a total of like 2 hours of sleep.
Similar, probably.
So tough start, but anyway.
But we're going home today.
We're going home. We're excited about that, and looks like there's good wind. The forecast is saying gusts to over like 25 knots range, I think. And they're calling the buoys reading about 1 meter waves right now, which is better than the last time we did it for Alie. So.
Yeah, that's not bad.
So yeah, we're excited to get underway, get home, and have a hot shower. We weren't planning to put a reef in the main, but I've decided if there's going to be 20 plus knots out there, I'd rather have a reef in and shake it out if we don't need it. More gas? Yeah, I'm just going to go with what it's wanting to do, which is spin us around. And then we'll go into forward about half throttle probably.
Okay.
Gonna slow it down a bit. It's working out pretty good so far. We're spinning around. I didn't mean to do it this way, but okay, going forward. Now give it a pretty good amount of gas. More. More. Okay, this might not go too well.
Let me show you what's going on here. When we tried to back up, instead of the boat going straight out, it flipped around and did more of a U like this. When we tried to go back into forward, again, instead of going straight, it flipped around. So the second time we did it, we let the boat flip around, we caught ourselves on the dock, and we tried to push ourselves off and gun it so that we could actually go straight. Having the dinghy engine only on one side definitely made this a little bit tough.
Give her lots. More. Yeah, I think that'll do it. There we go. Okay, you can back it off a little bit. And now straighten out your engine. We're gonna use mine to steer now. Alright, we did it. Good job.
Hi, Pender. Come get to us. Up from the dinghy. Whew. Back out on the water, baby. Back on the water, baby. While I pushed us around the corner, Ben hoisted the mainsail with our single reef in. And thank God there was a reef.
Alie at the helm with the air in her hair. Adventure woman, she's a wanderess.
Well, we are feeling pretty confident this morning. We may have bit off more than we can chew. Respect the ocean! Respect the ocean! Just like I said, you never know how secure you are until your salt shaker is flying at you from across the room. So we just tacked. We were looking at Windy, the app, and it gets pretty even heavier than we're already in now, just around the point of Texada.
It's way heavier than forecasted.
Yeah, it's way heavier than forecasted. And we only have one reef in, and we don't have our jack line set up. So we tacked. We're going to try and put another reef in, and we're trying to get away from the heaviest part of the wind.
But I'm going to put the harness on so I can clip off up there, onto the mast or on the boom. And once we get further this way, I feel like it's gonna be a little more protected, and I'll feel comfortable going up and putting in a second reef. It's not gonna be easy, but it might make things feel a little more comfortable for us, because we're definitely getting over 30 knots of wind, and we're getting some pretty big waves. The roller right here. Stop us in our tracks pretty much.
Big wave coming! The Malaspina Strait is this stretch of the Georgia Strait that the wind just gets funneled up. Although we had the current with us, the wind was just kicking up these huge waves that knocked us back every time we took one on the bow. And even though we were doing like 4 knots, we just weren't making any ground. And to make matters worse, the wind was building. I don't want to do this. I want to go back. This boat isn't dialed in enough for us to be doing shit like this.
I mean, we can go back if you're afraid, but I'm more afraid about going back without an engine than getting to Departure Bay where we're sheltered and dropping the anchor. I feel like we're better off getting across the strait without an engine.
Let's just go with just the main.
Okay. That's going fine, actually. Okay, so we've been out now for about 2.5 hours, and we haven't really made much progress. We just had to have a bit of a gut check moment and decide if we were going to keep going or not. I think if we had an engine, we probably would have we would have thought about calling it quits and just going in for a safe anchorage and waiting for this wind to subside a bit. I think it's probably still blowing 40, gusting 40. But we did get a second reef in the main, and that is making a really big difference. I feel like our safest option right now is to sail through it, get to the other side of the strait where we're trying to get. There's going to be a protected anchorage there that we can anchor and wait for the wind to subside so we can dinghy into our engine.
We're between a rock and a hard place.
Yeah, and I still, even if we had the engine, now that we have the second reef in, I think this is fine. I think that we're going to get out of the Malaspina channel, and this current and these opposing waves aren't going to be as strong. The wind is forecasted to start subsiding in about 3 hours, so yeah, we're just going to keep beating out of here, and I think we're fine, to be honest. I don't feel unsafe.
He was right. With the second reef in the main, the boat balanced out a lot better and it was more comfortable. Even though we still had big waves rolling us around, I had a lot more confidence in the boat. And I did find that taking the wheel actually really helped with seasickness. Something about being in control, maybe. A little cold there, bud?
I haven't tasted the ocean since the last time I went surfing, I think.
Yeah, I'm second guessing calling our channel breaking waves. As the day went on and the winds did lighten up, we one by one shook out our reefs, put up our cutter, and even eventually our jib, all maintaining balance. We played Would You Rather. We played the song game. We're both looking forward to being home and warm and maybe getting a shower and just being comfortable again. It's been a day of learning and pushing limits. And I think we're both done, and we're done about 2 hours ago. So the wind is dying on us, and we still have no engine, so I don't know what we're gonna do tonight to get into the dock, or if we even do try to get into the dock, but I'm bored.
I said, what a big old day that was. And then I'll have, like, you know when you do something that you remember for a long time and you have like vivid images in your mind for a long time thereafter?
That's called trauma.
Trauma.
So joke's on us. After all that's happened today, our wind just died.
Obviously, less than ideal situation where we're only a few miles from Nanaimo, but it's getting dark and the wind pretty much died. We're still going against the current, and we were only getting like less than 2 knots out of sailing. And we decided that we should probably lash up the dinghy and get some horsepowers behind us and go get this boat anchored before dark. And then in the morning we'll be able to motor back out and sail into Nanaimo and then hopefully motor into the slip. Bit of a rough ride here, but almost home.
We've invented this new sport called dinghy surfing. Watch for it at your next Olympics. Wow, look at him go! That's rad, man! Alright, I have finally hit my peak. I've had enough. The wind is playing games on us now. It'll show up for a bit and then turn off, and then show up for a bit, but then move, and then move, and then move, and I'm just like, I'm so tired. I'm so done with this day. I threw a little bit of a tantrum, came inside and ate some food, and Ben is solo sailing with the main and the cutter. We are so close, and yet this weird joke that the universe is playing on us is still going. It is coming up on 10 p.m. I gotta give Ben credit. He's still going. He's not happy about it. But I just gave up and was like, I'm going inside. Obviously an awful crew member, but like he's still sailing. I guess we don't have another option, but
I'm fucking sick of this.
honestly, this part of the story is not something that we're proud of. But as the wind continued to play games on us, turning off and then turning on and then switching spots, our engineless boat drifted towards these Five-Finger Islands, which are rocks by the entrance to Nanaimo. And as we were just so tired... Well, team, we made it home. It's been a long day. And we're going to bed. Chat with you later. We called Seatow again, and they brought us into our dock and back to safety.
So I wanted to offer some context about the reason why we decided to sail back home across the strait before fixing the inboard. After we topped up the engine with more coolant, that we ran the engine for about 5 minutes and it started overheating again. And we hadn't lost enough coolant in that time, I didn't think, for that to make any sense. And I have limited knowledge, admittedly, about these things, but I was feeling like maybe there was something more than just a coolant leak that we had to worry about. Another part of it was that COVID had just started to take shape in BC and things were starting to shut down. I also wasn't confident that it would be very easy to get parts or help if I needed it. Back home in our marina, there was, a great boatyard. It's a Yanmar dealership, so all the stuff that we need would be easy to get. And we were paying transient moorage where we were, so every day we were there, it was costing us money. There was a lot of things that contributed to the decision to not fix the engine where we were and to try to sail across the strait. So there's some context.
So, not our shining moment, for sure.
This was probably the most pause I've ever taken after, a bad day on the water or like in anything in my life. I seriously had to reflect on my decision to leave the dock that morning. But you know, what did we learn? I learned that don't trust one weather forecast.
One thing I learned is that you can't, as a crew member, just give up halfway and decide that you're going inside. It's not safe. It's awful. And I obviously won't do it again.
Yeah, we had a lot of chats after this one. I feel very confident in the boat now. Like, I feel really good that we sailed through it. Like, it was pretty heavy, and we sailed through it. So,
yeah.
You know, a certain level of confidence building, and proud of our skill set to be able to sail through it, proud of the boat.
Do you think, too, that when you make a decision and you're committed to it, when you do find yourself in wind like that, and the only direction was forward, in that situation, the idea of going back and anchoring in high winds with no engine was less safe than it was to go forward. So the decision to go out in the first place was maybe could have, I don't know, would we go back and do the same thing again? Don't know. But once we were already out in the strait, there was no way to go but forward. And I think we both did what we had to do in order to get home safely.
Looking back with hindsight, I think it was the right decision to sail back without the engine. I would have chosen a different day. But, you know, I think...
Hindsight 2020.
And the other thing I want to mention, because I know we're going to get a billion comments about this, is I know you're not supposed to tow a dinghy in those kind of conditions, but we didn't have a choice, right? We had to get off the dock with the dinghy, and then once we were out, it wasn't going to be possible to get the dinghy up on deck. So that was a calculated risk that I took in order to get home, and I was comfortable with it. I generally, I would put the dinghy up on deck for a passage like that. But
Things we've learned.
Yeah. So anyway, we're lucky, I think, that nothing bad happened.
We're very lucky.
Proud that we sailed through it. I think we learned a lot about each other. Alie had to ask me whether or not I chose to sail on in order to make good YouTube footage. We had a conversation about it, and that wasn't the decision at all. The decision was 100% what I felt as captain of the boat and responsible for both of our lives in the boat and Bruce's life. I felt like the best thing to do, the safest thing to do was to sail through it, and there was no other, you know, I would never do anything to make for good YouTube footage if it meant our safety was on the line. So, but we did have to chat about all that, and we did.
Yes. We are also putting some behind the scenes footage up on Patreon if anybody's interested in knowing more details. All the good, bad, and the ugly is going to be up there. So,
thanks to everybody that's following along.
Thanks for tuning in, everybody. I just wanted to say a quick shout out to Angela Krisinger, Chris Collier, Darren Kirkland, Debbie Bell White, and Jerowyn Tentage. These are some of our first patrons, and I just wanted to say thank you so much. It means the world to us. It's incredible having you all along.
It's pretty cool. Nice to have the support.
Yeah. So if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button, and we will see you at the next episode. Mr. Bruce, from the perspective of an excellent boat dog, would you say that those waves were fun? I see. Very interesting. Would you rather stay home? Would you rather go swimming? Would you rather live in Pender? Would you rather... Okay, sorry. If you like this episode, please hit subscribe. Maybe let us know how you feel in the comments. And don't forget to hit the bell. Ding.